Hey guys, Becky here with Design Bundles, and I'm super excited to have you join me today because this is a much awaited tutorial. We are cutting wood using our Cricut Maker knife blade. Alright guys, so here I am. This is my Cricut Maker, and I have already installed my knife blade. Okay, so here we go. Nice, pretty little knife blade. Now this goes in your second carriage, okay? So you slide it in, make sure that your gears are facing in the right way, and then close up your housing. Now the product that we're cutting today is this Cricut Basswood, and I'm pretty excited about it. I'll be honest with you, I kind of knocked these machines' ability to cut wood. I was like, there's no way it's cutting real wood. And I mean, I'm not sure that I would still call it real wood, but it's definitely sturdier than I thought it would be. This is the, they have two thickness. This is the 1/16 thickness. They do have a 1/32 thickness also. That's gonna be thinner, but these are pretty good. I'm actually surprised. And what I've done, these are 12 by 16 sheets. And I just have, this is a standard grip mat, but it does have two, do you see where we're separating? This is two 12 by 16 pieces. And the reason that I've taped them down is just extra security. I'm a little paranoid. But the file that I'm cutting is going to have a piece here, no, a piece here, here, and here, okay? So what that means is that I've already taken into consideration that this division, I'm not trying to cut over that crease. So I didn't want to mislead you to think I'm cutting something this big. Now they do make sheets that are the 12 by 12, but these are 12 by 6. I'm just putting them on there together so that it's easier for the cutting. So I'm going to go ahead and load this, and we're going to go ahead and take a look at the software. Alright guys, so here we are in Cricut Design Space, and this is just a blank canvas, nothing special about it. And I do need to upload my SVG file. Now this is a file that I snagged from Design Bundles. I really like it a lot. I'm going to go to Upload and Browse, and I'm going to locate that, here we go, Rainbow Puzzle. And I'm going to bring in this SVG document here. Now it does come in several pieces, but they're all right there together. We're just going to insert those into our canvas. Now, another thing that I want to do, let's go ahead and let's ungroup that. There we go. So you just want to make sure that everything is lined up like it needs to be, but more importantly, we need to make sure that we turn these all the same color. We don't want to attach them though, but we want to turn them all the same color, and we'll just use blue. Now this is already sized correctly. There's no additional sizing needed, but you can size it if you need to. You would just do it all together. That way it all stays proportionate, okay? So I'm going to click over to make it, and this is the reason why we needed to make it all the same color. That way it'll all easily go on the same mat. And then I want to separate this down. So the wood pieces that we're working with, they are 12 by 6. So this is right here through the middle, my 6-inch divider. So I want to make sure that these pieces are, I would say, about halfway, okay? And try not to get them right up to the edge. Okay, so now we don't need to mirror or anything like that. We can just hit continue. And now this can only be done with the Maker. You cannot cut wood, even the balsa wood or the basswood, on any other machine that Cricut has. So you do need the Maker, and you need the knife blade. All right, so I'm going to go to Browse All Materials. And I'm just going to search for the basswood. Now here's the two different thicknesses that are available. We are going to choose the 1/16. I'm going to hit done, and it'll ask you, do you want to calibrate the knife blade? I hit no. I have already done this before, so I don't need to do that. In my opinion, I'm not going to do that every time, but if you want to, that's fine. It's probably recommended just to make sure that you know, it's your blade is on point. It's where it needs to be. But it sets the pressure by default, and it does tell you you need to have the knife blade loaded. And it does try to remind you like, hey, you know, if you're trying to cut something that isn't wood, because obviously this is going to be too much pressure and too thick of a blade for other thinner materials. So it doesn't want you to damage anything. So now we're going to head over to the machine and we're just going to hit that go button and the Cricut will take care of the rest. All right, so before you unload your mat, you always want to double check and just make sure that you got a good cut. Now there are a couple areas that I might have to touch up by hand. So I have just a regular craft knife, nothing special. But we're gonna unload this. Okay, so let's see how we did. You just have to remember that as much as we love these machines, there's still only so much that they can do. So you can expect a little bit of cleanup because this is still a hobby craft cutter, okay? This isn't gonna be a CNC machine or a laser cutter. It's still gonna be very basic. Another observation that I'm making is it looks like the wheels, and this is a testament to how soft this wood is. The wheels actually left an imprint, if you can see. There we go. See where I have wheel imprints here? So just something else to keep in mind. Now I want to be very careful with this because I want the inside and the outside of these pieces. As a matter of fact, let's use our spatula. So I'm just going to straighten these up as I peel them off. And like I said, just be careful when you're popping out these pieces. All right guys, so let me tell you what I have. First of all, this is a wood glue that I use. Now I use this for my actual wood projects, but it's gonna work really good for this also. And then I just have some regular acrylic paint and a paintbrush. So the first thing that I wanna do, let's go ahead and talk about the base layers. I have the one solid rectangle, and then I do have two of the cutouts for the rainbow. These are actually going to layer on top of each other to give it a base and to make them thicker and sturdier. All right, so let's go ahead and start by, I'm gonna glue these two pieces together first. So I'm gonna line these up and just make sure that I get everything as close to center as possible. Because this is going to be the base of my puzzle fitting together. So if it's not aligned, then the pieces won't slide in and out, okay? Next, we're gonna do the same thing, but I'm going to flip it over and only apply the glue to the back. Now, this is a pretty fast drying glue, so I should just be able to press it into place. It's kind of like super glue for wood. Okay, so very sturdy. All right, I'm very happy with that. I'm going to allow this to dry, but this is gonna be an unfinished part. Okay, I'm not gonna paint this. So setting it aside to dry is gonna work really well because then I can go ahead and glue these and paint these also. So let's go ahead and line up the pieces. And you just have to make sure that they're both facing the same way. There should be small little variances. It doesn't matter if you match them front to front or back to back. It's just making sure that they line up the way that they need to. So if you're working with this exact file, that one right there is a little tricky. That's the biggest one. And then the same with all these little pieces here. Okay, so I'm gonna adhere these with the same wood glue. I'm doing the same thing. I'm just lining them up and make sure that they line up exactly. Okay, so let's go ahead and let everything dry and we'll talk about what paint colors we want to use. Now I also have a little bit of white, and what I plan on doing is painting the clouds white. The heart will be pink, and I plan on doing the outside layer, the outside rainbow pink also. And then I will do the teal and then the yellow. So that's my game plan. Let's go ahead and get these open. It actually should not take a whole lot of paint. But I just want to say you can actually give this whole thing a base coat of white if you want, especially if you're using bright colors that you want them to pop. Giving them a white base coat would probably be good. This is also a really good chance to go ahead and check all your edges. Like I noticed this one still has one rough side, so I'm going to go ahead and trim it down. Now I'm using just a little X-Acto knife here, but if you have a lot of rough edges, it'd probably be a good idea to go ahead and grab some sandpaper and give them a good sanding. So I can go ahead and start painting. Let's get a little bit of white going on here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to paint lightest to darkest, and I'm also going to do thin coats. All right, the thin coats are going to dry faster and allow me to do multiple layers. And going lightest to dark will help me not contaminate my colors. Now it'll be up to you if you just want to paint the front. I am only painting the front, but you can actually go all the way around if you prefer. Actually, you know what? I might be going all the way around. We need to make sure that we're lining these up. Okay, so I did get the front with that one. This one here, we'll go there, all right. All right, so now let's go ahead and get started here. Now I said pink. Actually, the next lightest color is going to be yellow. Okay, so there's the yellow. Now we'll hit the pink. Okay, so we're gonna let these dry, and then if they need a second coat, I will come back and do that, and then I'll meet you guys back when it's time to look at the assembly. All right, so we are back, and I did change my mind a little bit. I went ahead and painted both sides. Now, I'm not gonna lie, that's because I found out that I painted the wrong side of one of them. So I figured I might as well go ahead and paint them all. Now, this is because there's not a lot of allowance between the two different, between the different shapes. It's not easy. It's not super easy to slide in. But once you get it lined up, I slide mine in just far enough so that they still have a little dimension. Now that may not be what you want to do. That's okay. I look at this. So this is technically listed as a puzzle. All right, but I look at this as more of a display piece, okay? So if I have a 3-tiered tray or something like that, and I like that, number one, okay, it's pretty sturdy, and then number two, I can slide them in just far enough to still get a little bit of that dimension without them going all the way in. Now, if I want them to go all the way in, I can push them all the way in, okay? Let me just go ahead and clarify that. Like, it's not that they won't go in. But if I just tap them a little bit into place, another way that you can do this is you could have cut 3 layers of these pieces, and then you would naturally have a whole extra layer that would stand out from the front. So that part is completely up to you, but I'm really digging this right now. But in theory, if you wanted to, especially using the new offset feature, you could make a little bit of an offset on the inside, and that would make them slide in and out easier. But guys, this is our little puzzle, and you see that dimension I was talking about? Super, super cute. So I love it. I am absolutely in love. This is going to be one of my new favorite projects, and hopefully you guys enjoyed learning to cut with the Cricut knife blade. So guys, what did you think about cutting wood with your Cricut Maker and the knife blade? Now, I just have to say, and I have tried to cut wood in the past and been left wanting. So I am very, very pleased with how easy this was to do. Not only in the Cricut software, I didn't have to make any adjustments myself. I didn't have to figure anything out. I literally was able to plug this material in, put in my knife blade, and although the cutting process took quite a while, a long while. I think it said like 14 passes, but to be able to set it, walk away, come back, and have cut wood pieces was really, really great. I just cannot say enough how, what do I want to say? How surprised I am. I really thought this would have been a harder project. So I'm happy to pass on to you that it receives my stamp of approval. I had a really good time in painting it and creating the little embellishment and having this cute little sign as my finished project. I'm just really happy with it. So I'm going to wrap it up for today, guys, but if you have any questions or comments, make sure you leave those down below. I do love hearing from you guys, and I do come back and answer them. And of course, make sure you subscribe to the channel, share with a friend. I really love all the support that you show for the channel. It helps us to keep bringing you these tutorials in the future. So once again, guys, like I said, I'm going to wrap it up, but I do appreciate you stopping by, and we'll see you again next time.